Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome from Rosamond, California at Willow Springs International Raceway. The first of the perennial double headers here on Super Sunday on Apex Racing TV. Kicking things off with the Formula Fords of the Weekend Warriors Series. I am Tim Cox. Josh Wilkie's in the virtual production trailer. Charles Bushell will be joining me very, very shortly. But let's just take a little look through the championship standings before we get underway here today. And into Spec 1, the highest of the categories in terms of iRating. And leading the way there is Christian Kabanka. And it's just under 60 points ahead of Jason Green in second. He's himself got a commanding gap of 42 points over Megan Overstreet in third, our reigning champion. You can see a third different winner in this championship from 3 seasons. Remains to be seen. McConnell's fourth, there's Jackson, Alessandrini, Renders, Hamada, Zerbs, and Soto to round out your top 10 there. Across into Spec 2 now. I'll lean away here. It's Benjamin Harris had a real good opportunity to bank some points with a lot of his competitors not around last week, and well, he did so nearly in he did so in style. Apologies with winning, making 2 wins on the bounce for him. Philip Fernandez getting kind of drift a little bit now, nearly 30 points behind Harris in second. There's Paul Stevens, only 1 point behind him third, with Bottas. He's close to the top. He's got some 4 points behind Stevens, and he lies in fourth. There's Saunders, for Bruges, Steno, Montgomery, Bosgood, and Chris Scriven to run out your top 10. Heading across into Masters now, and many other people are returning this week. Urbani, Championship League, I can tell you, he's currently second in qualifying right now. Looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce for him. Antonio Racing second, Degassius third. There's Walbot Ray, Brewster, Coffee, Tom's, Murakami, and Laurie to round out your top 10 there. But let's get stuck into things today, Charles. And well, we're not too far away from being formed behind the Porsche 911 safety car as always. And well, such a challenging circuit, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, Tim. This is an old school circuit. I mean, it's really popular in the 50s and 60s. Primarily as a test track, a lot of SCCA events here, but made famous recently by the Ford versus Ferrari movie, where Ken Miles tragically lost his life in a testing incident. So as I was talking with one of my Olympus esports drivers this week, he says, I like the fact that iRacing makes all these tracks realistic and true to life. He says, but I really could use some braking markers around here, and I kind of get it. And there's just nothing. There's no real defining characteristics of this track. It's just a bare bones track in the middle of the desert, and so you have to really get some good practice in to learn what kind of speed you can carry through each corner.
It does indeed, and it can be interesting. This treacherous heading across the top of the hill. We're going to see a big incident, remains to be seen. But let's have a look at how the runners and riders are going to line up today. And on your front row, well, those eagle-eye viewers who know their liveries will spot that it's Emily Street on pole, with Jorg Marnie joining her on the front row. Championship leader in Spec 1, Christian Gabanka, lines up alongside, championship rival in second in that class is Jason Green. And the Gaseous, he's 5th, second in Masters, with Michael McConnell joining him on row 3. Row 4's an all-Masters affair, with Murakami and Love lining up alongside one another. Then Thomas Renders, and then our top 10 being rounded out by Chris Montgomery, who's also our highest qualifier in Spec 2. So another Masters row for row 6 in the form of Richard Coffey and Tom Lorry. Keep up for them, with their similar liveries, thanks to Lorry Electronics. Sandra Bruges is Chris Scriven Company on row 7, Andrew Harding and Paul Stevens. Row 8 with row 9 being Jesse Buddas and John Toms. Then we've got Tim Staino and David Ogburn to run out your top 20 and row 10. Jeff Saunders has Philip Fernandez for Company on 11. 12 is series organiser Stevie Ray with Rick Wishen, newcomer to the championship, and looking forward to seeing how he gets on this week after a bit of an eventful how shall we say. Gary Warbolt and Kai Brendel not setting times, and neither did Morn Human nor Chris Walker with those latter two. They haven't taken to the track, so I don't think they're going to be joining us. So just the 26, not too shabby a grid. And what's intriguing for me, we've got a lot of classes, people in classes grouped together quite a bit here, Charles.
Yeah, it seems like that this is iRating standard thing. Just kind of says the more experienced drivers are generally going to be faster. The Spec 2s will be a little further back, but they'll all be together in racing, and it should make it a lot cleaner. I think not many cars out of place for their skill set. And this is one of those tracks that, as we talked about, no brake markers. You really have to practice it. I drove this in a league event this season with the GT3s. I struggled in balcony. I never could get the timings right. And you have to, and I'm sure we're going to see this at some point. You have to be careful about these curbs. These curbs are different than anything else, I think, on iRacing service. They will just absolutely catapult the car into the air if you catch them wrong.
Yes, they're almost Nürburgring-esque, aren't they, with their harshness. And bit of a mention, though, to one of our sponsors, and that's Ray Phillips of PDA, or Precision Driving Analytics, given by their full name. Now, Ray has over 30 years experience in motorsport racing, open wheelers for almost 20 years at that time. He's found a new passion helping others go faster. He fulfilled the role of data race engineer and also as a driver coach. Now, Ray was a data engineer and driver coach for a 2019 championship winning Ferrari Challenge team. PDA doesn't just help you help drivers, but they also sell a wide range of data and video equipment that could help everyone from a high-performance driver education driver through to a professional race driver, or even the team as a whole. No matter what you choose, customers get the information that they need to go faster and have a good time on track. Now, PDA doesn't just help out the real world, but also sim racing too, to help people stay within their limits and have a good time on track. You'll find out more by heading across to precisiondrivinganalytics.com just as the safety car pulls in, and let's get ready to go racing from Willow Springs, folks, as we are green and we are racing down towards turn 1. It's the first fast left-hander here, but they're still having a go at this. 2 wide, even 3 wide there as they try and swoop their way through on this opening stages of the lap. So someone just running a little bit wide there, getting out onto, well, I would say they're grass, but it's more like sand here and dirt and gravel, all dusty goodness. But it looks like everyone's got away cleanly, Charles.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Clean start. Yeah, there's not really grass to speak of here, which is good because there's not really anything much to speak of on the edges of the track except for where the curbs are. So there's really nothing to hit except when you get in here at the balcony. So yeah, it should make your recovery a little bit easier. You're going to be a little bit slower, but you'll be able to continue the race.
Overstreet leads. In fact, our top 4 all unchanged. Murakami's had a good start. He's up 2. Not as good as Stevie Ray, up 7 places already into 16th. A flying start from the series organizer. See if he can maintain that one up to 16th already. That's Chris Scriven in front of him in 15th. As we head out onto the fast flowing back straight, and then this double right-hander, Charles. Oh, and it's so easy to lose the rear, and around goes Chris Scriven on those cold tyres.
Yep, Overstreet's down 2. She's dropped off the front and down, and she's off. Is that Scriven off the track there? But yeah,
yes.
we had a few people that just quite didn't get that corner right as we see one cartwheeling.
I think that wow, it didn't look like Tom Laurie's livery. He's had an incident somewhere. I've seen these drop down through the order. I think that might have been Tim Stano that went cartwheeling in the 427.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's towed to the pits. So yeah, that was crazy. We'll get a replay here from Josh. We'll see what happened.
You're right about Overstreet, down to 12 for an instant. Oh wow.
Yeah, that wheel-to-wheel contact caught the car sideways, and you can see not just sand but also rock, and just caught the car and tumbled it.
Bonus points from me though, Charles. He managed to land it on all 4 wheels despite those dramatics. So that's for Bruges having a bit of a moment. I think that's through turn 2, isn't it? Yes. Actually, no, that's further around the track, isn't it?
Yeah, that's coming into balcony. Yeah, it's coming into balcony. Like I said, it's just, for whatever reason, it's just very difficult to get those corners timed right up through there. So you'll see a lot of incidents there. You'll see a lot of people catching curbs, going too fast, going too slow, and holding up traffic. So it's just going to be interesting to watch.
That's the thing, isn't it? One tiny mistake and it's so easy. Oh, that's Jason Green, is that running wide, I think?
Yeah, just a little wide out that corner. Yeah, that final corner, we haven't talked about it yet, but it's cambered on the inside. So if you're hitting the apex properly with the right speed, it just kind of pulls you around the corner. Now there's a little bump on the exit of that apex that will unsettle the car, but if you miss going in, if you're wide going in, the camber goes away and it just kind of falls off, and you just end up over in the dirt, over on the left hand side going toward pit entry.
It's almost like the carousel at the Nürburgring, isn't it?
It really is.
On the inside. There's just like a tabletop around the outside. I mean, nowhere near as dramatic in terms of the difference between the cambered section and the flat section that you have at the carousel, but definitely easy to catch you out as we look back from green. That is Murakami behind us, starting with a little bit of a train here with the gases, McConnell, Coffee, all involved.
Yeah, you get a good look at those curbs as we're seeing this shot from back, courtesy of Josh. Yeah, those curbs and we haven't seen anybody hit them yet, but I'm assuming that we will before this race is over. They kind of angle up, so it's not really going onto the curb. It's when you jump the curb and try and bring it back. That angle coming back is almost 90 degrees, and so it's very, very difficult to get the car back on track in a straight line without losing one end or the other. And so I'm sure, like I said, we'll see something happen, especially going into balcony. That left-hander, it's just very easy to catch that inside curb and just catapult the car across the track.
I've just spotted in the background Overstreet just caught up in a bit of a battle royale with people running wide. Chris Montgomery, that being the driver, doing so. So Overstreet going for a bit of an ambitious move right around the outside and gets it done on Tom's, I think that was.
Yeah, it was nicely done.
Yeah, beautiful little move.
So you got the preferred going in, as we see you working toward the inside, very close to that inside curve, but just float it out. You just kind of see as they come up to that crest of that hill, there's the rear just wants to let go and spin the car around.
Well, last time around, Charles, fastest lap of the race from Overstreet, definitely making some moves, trying to get back into the pack. Yeah. So we see exactly how she got this done.
Yeah, just a little bit of a toe, and just carries it all the way down the straightaway, and is able to make that pass. That was, I mean, yeah, it was a great pass. And then obviously once she's in front, she could pick the line and kind of dictate it through the corner. Even carrying a little bit of dirt on the inside there at the top. Obviously, she qualified on a pole, so she's got the pace, obviously, to try and make up that time. But it's going to be difficult from, she's now almost 3 seconds behind Coffee in P7. So it's a tough row. As long as they keep battling in front of her, she should make that time up. Plenty of time, still 34 minutes left in the race.
I mean, Greener, who's at the head of this pack, Charles, she was 2 tenths faster than him last time around. So definitely the momentum and the pace with her at the moment. But it is 3 seconds to make up. Still plenty of time left. We're only 6 minutes complete out of the 40 minutes here today from Willow Springs. And it's going to be interesting, this one, Charles. I missed this round when we came here for the first time last season. Taking part in a charity crazy golf event, to be precise. And with our good friend Sam Fitzpatrick. And, well, so it's going to be interesting in terms of fuel strategy, because it can be really challenging to pass around here. So when we see some drivers maybe elect to dip in a bit earlier than what we normally expect, but then you're going to have the weight of the car as well today, try and drag that extra weight up the hill. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of long straights here that you can get some good toe, but I don't know if it's not the level of what we saw like last week with the SRFs at VIR, which was just insane. Yes, I don't know if the undercut's going to work here or not. I mean, it's possible. I mean, if you've got the pace and you can get out in clean air and just set fast laps like Overstreet, it might be worth it to come in, because as long as she's out by herself, and she can set, those hot laps, lap in and lap out, even with some extra fuel in the car. I mean, she absolutely could make up some time that way.
Oh, she's made up nearly a second on the last lap over these guys, Charles. Coming in fast, as we saw just previously there. Coffee trying to do, well, almost a bit of a slide job on Degassis, but didn't quite pull off, didn't come off for him. Still plenty of time to try and make up those chances. Another new fastest lap from Overstreet there.
Yeah, you can just visibly see her making up time on this group in front. And I think, if I remember correctly, because I did the race with the boss man Lee Thompson last season, and I think she was at least on the podium for sure. I don't remember if she won the race or not, but I mean, she had obviously a really good race, so she's got some experience at the track.
She certainly has, indeed, and of course our reigning champion as well, so definitely on her side at the moment. That momentum is with her, although sitting third in the championship at the moment. So still plenty of opportunities. In fact, according to my notes, Charles, I've just been back and had a look. She did win last season.
Yeah, like I said, I knew she was running up front last season. I just couldn't remember if she won or not. I think these races kind of blend together for me. As time goes on, the details get a little fuzzy around the edges.
So set you through standings as we approach quarter race distance. Yogmani leads overall, and of course in Masters as well in doing so. Well, they just have Christian Kabanka only a quarter of a second behind him, and the leader in Spec 1. Then we've got Green and Murakami, those two both being second in their respective classes of Spec 2 and Masters. Then we've got the third places in class together, McConnell and Degassis. Coffee 7th, Overstreet, Love, Montgomery still holding on that top 10 spot. Your leader in Spec 2 with Ogburn and Bodas riding out that Spec 2 podium, 13th and 15th respectively for those two. And actually not too close to one another, so everyone's sitting quite comfortably in terms of Spec 2 in their respective positions, although saying that Verbrucia's just got a pat for Bodas, so ignore that sentiment there at the tail end. Well, as they switch around yet again, I think they're right old go at one another. Unlike our top two, who seem to be quite content to just work together on this one, unlike the group behind, they're almost bang wheels.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like to me too. I don't know if he maybe just got too hard on the brakes and kind of unsettled the rear of the car, or if they actually touched. But yeah, some good tight racing. But so far, no incidents. It's been real clean. It's what we like to see. Is let them battle on track, and let the better driver win.
On board with McConnell now. That is Murakami just in front of us. Then Green. McConnell will be desperate to get past Murakami, just get stuck into Green. Trying to nab second position in Spec 2 off him. And also, it's a battle for the last place on the podium between this gaggle we're witnessing right now. It starts at Green and ends at Coffee. Though Overstreet, you can see it just emerging into the shot there. 1.7 seconds the gap now between herself and this group. And Andrew Love looks like he's coming along for the ride too. So this could well end up being, as there's Green just losing his place. Sorry, McConnell, getting past Murakami. But yeah, this could well end up being, what, a 7-car fight for third.
Yeah, for sure. I think we calculated this. I think that the draft down the straightaway is worth about 0.4 of a second if you're behind and getting a good tow off the car in front. As we see him work to the inside, that seems to be the standard move here, is the inside of turn 1. You know, just kind of keep that car on the outside, make him take the long way around. Doesn't look like it held. It didn't quite work that time, but now we've got a battle behind McConnell there with Coffee and Murakami.
Well, Murakami in the space of what, about half a lap, Charles? He's lost 2 places now to McConnell and then Coffee. Well, I say lost 2 places. Sticks it up the inside. Oh, just twitchy at the rear and collects it, but didn't lose it, but has lost, well, another place, in fact.
Yeah. Now he's at the back of that pack. So yeah, it looked like his either he just offline or maybe a little bit of a ill handling race car, not handling the handling the rear end very well, as we see. Overstreet has now caught this group. And I'm thinking she's going to make quick work of Murakami here and just start working her way back up to the front.
That mistake from Murakami, obviously, he's costing those places, and also he's fallen off the podium in Masters as well now, so he's down to 4th in class. Could end up being demoted all the way down to 8th, so 4 places in many laps as McConnell heads to the front in this group, up into 2nd. Making light work of Green. I mean, interestingly, I've been looking at the lap delta. There you go. There's the move from Overstreet. They're not actually really getting away, those top 2, despite all this battling that's going on behind them. That says to me they're fuel saving. I mean, it's very hard to do around here.
Yeah, it is very hard to do around here. And they may be, but Overstreet just set the fastest lap of the race by, looks like about a half second over the rest of the field. So I'm not sure fuel saving is going to be a winning strategy for the cars in front of her.
So hard to do around here. There's not really any big braking areas, and the big braking areas that there are on the track are largely uphill, so you can't really like coast the car.
Lots of a lot of flow to the track. You're just basically, it's throttle management around the corners. There's you'll get a little bit on the brakes here, but even with the GT3 cars, when you get to these last 2 corners, this big 180, you're flat out essentially until you get right here to the end of the entrance of the last corner. You have to lift a little bit to just set the nose of the car to get it into that sweet spot for the corner, and then you're back on throttle again. And if you don't carry the speed through here, then obviously you're going to end up as Murakami finds out, you're going to end up falling to the back of a pack if you're racing in a pack, because they're all just going to go by you.
Well, Green's experiencing that now as well. He's he's moved from 3rd to 4th. He's down to 5th. In fact, Gas is making his life incredibly uncomfortable right now. There he comes into shot, slotting up the inside of Green. And in fact, Overstreet saying, thank you very much. I might want a bit of this gap. Looking for the switchback now.
Yep. She's looking for the switchback, and she says, okay, we'll reset. We'll get you down the front straight here if I can get you before then. So we'll get you down into turn 1. So yeah, I think she's just kind of setting that up. So she's just kind of building her momentum. And obviously you have to be very aware of mistakes with those cars in front when you're racing that close together. They get a little twitchy and they have to kind of lift, and the next thing you know, you're in the back of them.
Just looking at the track temperatures there, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So definitely on the warmer side of things today, aren't we? What, we're 29 degrees Celsius. It's converted across into metric units. As on board with Overstreet, getting the move done here. Just ahead of us there, Degassis had a bit of a look at Coffee, who then in turn says, well, if you're not going to go for a move, I'm going to have a go for a move on McConnell. And, well, we saw Overstreet make this work around the outside previously. Can Coffee do it where Overstreet managed to? No, can't. And do so. Degassis is now squirming out wide, trying to follow McConnell through, trying to protect that inside line. And now he's going to lose a place to Overstreet as there it goes. Lovely little move from Coffee to squeeze his way past McConnell. But this ebbing and flowing, these little groups here.
Saw a car off on the side there. I didn't catch who it was.
Andrew
but it was
Hardy.
off. Is that okay? Yeah. So he was off the track. That kind of looks like maybe a curb strike. But yeah, this is a great battle. Overstreet, I think, just obviously is a little bit faster than this group. But she's being very patient to work her way through and not put people in bad situations, including herself. So she's just taking her time and picking her way a car at a time. If she can't get it, if she can't get it through here, then she'll just wait and line them up for turn one for the front straight, and she'll just get that run. As you see, she's flared way wide there to get that car, just keeping that momentum going.
Well, there's finally
there's one. She got another one in her. Let's see here.
That's McConnell, who raced to the front of this group, which had been, led by Jason Green for quite a while. But looking at this, well, Overstreet's been in this position before, managed to get it done around the outside, can't do it this time. There's Coffee holding on to it, but yeah, Degassis now in charge of it. It's constantly switching around, but Green has fallen to the back of it, and seems to be, I think, well, this is classic Jason Green territory, now, isn't it?
It definitely sounds like it. It definitely sounds like he's like, yeah, I'll just tow for a while, and we'll do a fuel saving. I think if anybody's doing it, it's probably him. But so yeah, it wouldn't shock me if we end up talking to him after the race. He said, yeah, I was fuel saving in the first half. But as we've seen, I don't think we've had anybody in the pits yet, other than we've got Stevie Ray's been in there. So, which is normally our first taker of a pit stop.
He came in on around about the 13-minute mark, so 5 minutes ago. This lot are really holding each other up, so much so that Andrew Love has managed to bring the gap down to about just over a second. He's pushing hard, though. I just saw him in the background, nearly losing the rear in doing so. But, I've just heard an ear, and yeah, there you go. Kabanka is past Marnie.
Yeah, so it's changed for the lead.
Let's have a look at how it managed to evolve and happen. Well, we're so engrossed in that group behind.
Yeah, Monty just a little loose into turn two. Went wide, had to catch the car, and it was a nice, easy pass for Kabanka on the inside.
Got the job done. Efficient.
Yep, absolutely.
They're still losing, they're still not really getting away like I thought they would do to that group behind. 2.5 seconds the gap, which is still, I know, 2.5 seconds. Not a bad margin this stage of the race. Nearly half race distance. But, seeing as though they've spent, well, I've just seen the corner of my eye there, Charles. Overstreet now leading that group.
That's right. So now you've got the fastest car in the front of the group. Based on what we were seeing with lap times, I think we may have a much bigger pack here at the front of this before it's all said and done.
A lot of time to try and make up, though, Charles. Having said that, last time around, she was, a whole second faster than Yogmani, but with no one to slipstream off, and it's easy to try and catch someone, and now she's going to come under threat, largely from Richard Coffey this time around. That's going to slow her up a bit, and also not have that slipstream to, launch herself past people and help reduce that lap time. And when they cross the line, about 10 faster than Marnie was Coffey. Overstreet, well, actually, she was significantly faster by about 3 tenths. So it is coming down, but could it get held up here? Alan Degassis, you see there from the graphic on the left-hand side holding the fastest lap of the race, 1:23.277. She could even lose another place here. Tyler Gassis having a good look at her and trying to find a bit of a gap there, but all tripping up over one another. And doing so, McConnell's now got the run.
I think if I was in this group with Overstreet, I don't think I would fight her very much. Just I think because I think we've seen that she's picked up. I mean, she's made up quite a bit of time on the lead group. Just as she's had that mistake earlier, she was what 8 seconds down at one point, and so she's made up quite a bit of time. She's cut that gap down in half, and so I think I would. Obviously you want to try and maximize your pace. So, obviously, if you're going to get a run down the front straight, you probably are just going to make that pass. But as we see, she's just working her way back around. Oh, no. Oh.
Well, lightning does strike twice, doesn't it? For Overstreet. I think that might be her done.
I think so. Yeah, I couldn't see from that angle, but it looks like, I'm not sure she was clear as she was moving her way back over from that pass, and it looked like there was some wheel-to-wheel contact.
Well, I'm glad you spotted that, Charles, because I was just so engrossed in the moment and trying to look at what the timing screen and see what we compared lap times. Yeah. I catch what happened.
Yeah, it just kind of looked like she thought she was clear and maybe moved over, or maybe she was just maybe kind of opening the corner entry up for herself, and maybe the other car said, it's, I'm maybe I want to move in. I don't know. It just, that was not a great angle, but, but definitely contact made and race over for Overstreet, who was just flying on the track.
Chris McGorry into the pits. I'm not sure if it was a bit more of a hair and coffee, just heading towards the same inch of tarmac and just not quite aware of where one another were. Let's, I'm sure we've got another replay coming up for you shortly. This might well give us the answers. Exactly. So let's have a little look.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell if Coffee moved in, but, or if Overstreet, I think definitely Overstreet moved out, but I don't know if Coffee made the situation worse by maybe moving to the inside of the track or not, but definitely, obviously, contact made and race done.
Tricky one.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll hear from the drivers find out exactly how that all panned out. But while it's been going on, Andrew Love, I mentioned to be chipping away. He is now up onto the back of this group. So where one's departed, another one has joined. But that gap has really opened up now between our top two and the rest of the pack. 4 seconds is the advantage that Kabanka and Marnie have over McConnell and co. Oh, this is pretty. I mean, this is pretty much up for grabs. This could go any which way.
Yeah, this is one of those. This is one of those. We asked the question: do you want to be leading or in second place going into the last lap? And I'm kind of feeling like second place may be the best place at this point in time. But yeah, it's good to see if this pack can maybe without Overstreet in it can actually pick up the pace. And see if they can tighten that gap down. But I think they're pretty much running just about the same pace. Well, I see McConnell was a little bit faster that lap. And now as we get lap timings updated, they were actually up 2 or 3 tenths off of the lead pack.
See, I'm not sure. I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it, Charles? Because you could be clever about this. Just slow it up the pace a little bit towards that final, apex. Not just quite, sort of always park it on the apex. Sandra Bruges heads to pit road. But equally, as we saw there from the camera angle displayed beautifully as we look back from, I think it was McConnell at the time. Yeah, Green and Degassis both running wide out of the corner onto the gravel. So, I don't know, it's a tricky conundrum, isn't it? If you're behind, really you've got to get it absolutely smack on.
Yeah, and it may be if you're in second place, you may want to just kind of hang behind the leader until the final corner of the last lap and try and get that run, because the start-finish line's a pretty good distance down, so you could possibly get a run out of the last corner and have enough momentum and tow to actually catch them at the line. So it's a very interesting scenario of how this is going to play out if those two stay together. As we see, oh, that was Green. I think, yep, Green into the pits.
Was driven into as well. I think he's on pit exit right now. As we'll carry on through, what can Jason Green do? I wonder whether this is like, okay, get myself out into the fresh air. Everyone's tripping each other up. We're all slowing down our pace here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
it's very possible. And if he's saved, we're going to know it here very shortly by his pit stop time.
bold, it's brazen, and it's very, very Jason Green. All said and done. So Thomas Renders had the fastest pit stop previously. He stopped for 16 seconds, Charles. Green, 12.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a big difference. So we'll see about the front runners as they come in and see. Yeah, maybe he did save enough that he'll gain some time. If 4 seconds, if everything if the rest of the leaders come in status quo to what Renders had, then Green is going to be right up in the front of this at the end of the race, because that was about a 4 second. He was about 4.5 seconds behind that lead group. When he came in, so it'll be interesting as we see another car wide out of 9. I'll turn 9. It's so hard to get that corner right. But I will say this. If you're going into the pits and you just keep the hammer down, the dirt will slow you down before you get to the cones. And don't ask me how I know that.
No problem. No questions asked, Charles. No questions asked. Now, we're going to get a true benchmark here as to how's this panned out for Green. So there's Coffee in his pit box on the throttle, waiting to get going again. Philip Fernandez heads to pit road as well. Well, I can tell you, Jason Green definitely faster than the other two. Coffee, 19 seconds, 16.75 for McConnell. There goes Green. He's going to come out and be a country mile in front of all of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If that's like I said, that's a very quick pit stop.
Now, Charles, this is where we get into hypothesis time. 5.6 seconds. Make it 5.7. Ahead of McConnell. The gap between Degassis and Marnie and Kabanka is what, 4.6 seconds, Charles. So, assuming Kabanka and Marnie have similar pit stop times to McConnell, who's had the fastest at 16 seconds, obviously the same sort of time as what Renders experienced earlier on. There goes Marnie onto the brakes. Did he get it stopped in time?
Yeah, I don't know. That was close, but yeah, he locked all 4 up coming in. So we'll know in about 20 seconds after he pits whether or not he's got the penalty.
Well, it could well mean that Green actually penalties aside for Marnie, could well mean that Green actually ends up in the lead here.
It's going to be close. Like I said, based on his pit stop time, he's going
to come out in front of Marnie, definitely. The clock's going up. I think he's into penalty territory. Yes, 21 seconds. He's still being held.
I think so too. I think he's got a penalty. He's going to have to sit there for another 40 seconds on top of his pit stop time, which is sad because obviously he was one of the 2 lead cars, and you hate to end your race on a penalty for sure.
Still sat there, wondering whether we might even just leave it there. Oh, depressing for the Swiss driver, going for 3 wins in a row here from Willow Springs International Raceway, and it's just not going to be for the Swiss driver. Yeah, he's heading out now, Charles. Yep. Right, here comes Kabanka. He's into the pits. We get to find out whether Green's done enough here.
Yeah, I think he's going to be close now. Whether he's going to be in the lead or not, not sure. It's going to be very, very tight. But I think it's going to be. I think it's still a 2-car battle for the win, but it's Green instead of Monty with Kabanka.
Green just heading into the double right-hander now. Kabanka in his pit box. It's up to 7 seconds stationary. So Green was stationary for 12. Everyone else around about the 16-second mark. Wow, Kabanka's going to be that 16-second mark. 15.75 to be precise. There he goes. Has he done enough? There's Green, but he's coming along at full chat. Kabanka heading uphill as well. It can take him a few seconds just to get back up to pace. Well, watch this gap tumble, and I think it's going to neutralize at about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a 15.7 stop, which was, just kept him in front. So it was a good stop by him. And obviously, 2.5 seconds. They're running, by themselves at this point. So, you can just kind of let it fly. And if you've got the pace, maybe Green makes up that gap, or it's, or we end up with, a kind of a runaway winner in Kabanka.
Right now, obviously, we've got a top 3 overall, and thus in Spec 1, it's the top 4 in Masters. So this, if Murakami can pull this one off, it'll be his first win of the season and only his second time on the podium this season. Let's go back to Rutskogan round 1 when he finished second there. But definitely a big day in terms of the championship, isn't it? A chance to make a lot of points for in Masters and, Overstreet really not doing a championship aspirations too good, although the drivers do have a couple of drop rounds to factor in. I think it's definitely going to be Overstreet's one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when she's down, she's P5 in class, but P15 overall. She'll try it. She'll probably, this will probably be one of her drop rounds. If as we said from last season, I think she was on the podium every race. So yeah, it was a great run by Murakami. He hasn't done anything fantastic, but he's been steady. Hasn't made any mistakes, and sometimes that's good enough.
So that's the thing, isn't it? Like you say, just not making mistakes can make you fast. That explains half the reason why I'm so slow. But there we go.
I think I agree with that. Yep.
Murakami still in with a shout, though, of finishing on the podium overall, because that's McConnell in front of him. But Love also in with that shout, too. So this is all to play for here. In fact, it'll be Love's first time on the podium this season. And Gassius, well, he's had won 3rd place. Sorry, in a 2nd place. 2nd Laguna, 3rd at Alton Park. That's 5 and 2, respectively, for those two. So lots of, it'll be our first set, yet another different podium of configuration in Masters. It's been all season long. Spec 2 for Bruges leads that one, and that would be for Bruges' first win of the season if he can pull that one off. Really lying in 9th. Fernandez, 2nd in class, 11th overall. Then Rick Wishen, it's only his 2nd race in this league, looking for a chance on the podium. 13th at the moment, and lucky for some. Hopefully it's not for Rick. He does have Yugmani in front of him, interestingly. And then Philip Fernandez. So 3 different classes. Sorry, 2 different classes, apologies. And, if you could learn a thing or two just following Marnie, Wisher could even finish 2nd here.
That'd be a great finish for him. That might be that would be an awesome result. I think anybody would be happy to be on the podium in their class in one of these races. I want to give a shout out to the boss there, Stevie Ray, with a top 10 overall. Now he's 5th in Masters, but a top 10 overall is absolutely a fantastic result with this field. My guess is, if I think we talked to Stevie, he'd probably say he's probably, because he's so involved with SCCA, he might have actually driven this track at some point in time.
Yes, I'm sure he probably has, hasn't he? It's one of those weird circuits, isn't it? It's sort of it's a little bit, I don't know, it's almost a level down from Watkins Glen. It's like a national circuit, but then it's not at the same time. It's an eclectic circuit, to say the least, let alone for consider its configuration and how it's built onto the side of the hill here, almost Red Bull Ring-esque. Without the FIA Grade 1 license.
Yeah, no, I don't think this is going to get an FIA Grade 1 anytime soon. They like things like runoff areas and brake markers and things like that. It just,
You're not short of runoff area here, Charles.
Well, that's true. That's true.
The trouble is, you're heading off into the desert, and just might even encounter a few aliens out there or something like that. But
yeah, well, I will say this though, based on what we saw earlier from Tom Laurie, I don't think I would want to take an F1 car for that type of ride.
Due to the beauty of sim racing, we can. Just seeing Fernandez, that's the battle with Rick Wishen. Now, Marnie has got past Fernandez, so this is for second in Spec 2 inside the last 5 minutes. Who's taking it, Charles? Who's taking it? Wishen or Fernandez?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Let's take a look and see what we've got here. Let's ride around with Wishen for a bit and see what he's doing. Just kind of looks like he's just kind of riding. He's not really trying to push it yet. Obviously, Fernandez has had a really good season so far, so he's done real well. I think he's got a good handle on the car. As we see just how difficult that section of track is, I can't even begin to describe how hard it is to maintain to match your throttle for all those twists and turns. Yeah, you can't do that. You got to be careful with those curbs. He's got good pace. I think he's got good pace. He's got a chance here. It's just about lining it up, and as he moves to the inside here, he's going to take the spot.
I think he is, Charles. Look at that. Lovely little move there from Wishen. Going to get the job done, but Fernandez...
now, so Fernandez has the draft down the straightaway.
Yeah. And the wider entry into that final corner, Charles. So this is almost a bit of a drive run for that last lap. And look at that, Fernandez, when they came across the line, he was just in front. I mean, the length of the nose cone, but still, just in front.
Yep, just enough of a draft out of that last corner. If you get the angle right, that you can power by a car that you're trailing. So we may see that again before this race is done with these two.
Well, not long left on the clock, Charles. I mean, let's look. So Kabanka about to start another lap. He's out in the distance. 6 seconds. So he's really extended that gap over Green.
Yeah, he's really pushed it. Obviously, he's
has Green made a mistake somewhere? Because he's lost a lot of time. And look, that's McConnell and co right behind him. So that's changing quite a bit in these latter stages.
I mean, it is possible. I didn't see anything. I was kind of watching his laps, and they just kind of were just a little bit slower than Kabanka every lap. And I just maybe this group just kind of stayed in line and worked together, excuse me, and made up that gap. So I, like I said, didn't see anything that from the lap times that, as I was watching where Green did anything just drastically wrong.
Last time around, Charles, he was 1.4 seconds slower than McConnell. So I think he's had a bit of a wiggle and a bit of a moment. Nothing to trigger within our software that he's had an incident, but he's definitely had a bit of a moment out on track. And now look at this. Look at this gaggle. Wow, this is going to be epic, isn't it? And when they come across the line, this will be close. I'm keeping half an eye on it. Yes, yeah, I think it's going to be white flag. And look, there goes McConnell up into second. Has Green not put enough fuel in, and now he's trying to fuel save this one out, and it's actually hurting him.
Ooh, spin behind.
Yes, it's gone. Sorry, no, love. That was love. Apologies.
Oh, such a shame. Was on, in for a podium finish, and just I can't see. Let's see. We get a replay here from Josh. See what we got here. We got Love all by himself.
He's going to lose the rear, I'm guessing.
A little grass. I think he may have got a little help. Yeah, I think he might have got a little help from behind there. I think the cars in front of him checked up, and then so he checked up to just kind of match their pace, and maybe the guy behind didn't really see it or didn't catch it in time, and so tapped and spun. Such a shame.
Well, flag definitely in the air though, so... Well, Green lost out big time, and I think, he's got his fuel saving Charles heavily. He's definitely not got enough fuel left in that car to get him home. However, we've got a battle on for the lead in Masters. Murakami versus Degatius. As for that Wish and Fernandez, well, they've sort of grown apart from one another. So this is your closest battle. It all comes down to the win in Masters, and Degatius knows it. Getting a bit aggressive right now with his lines, but is he actually in the place to be? You said about it, Charles, that being behind, being the place to be. There goes Kabanka. He's going to take victory quite comfortably in the end. 6.8 seconds clear of the field. McConnell's going to be second, but what is happening in that battle? Green could lose another place here, but it's the race to the line. Who's going to get it? I think Murakami's just going to beat him out by 200ths of a second in the line.
So close. Yeah, I think Murakami got a really good run and maybe did a little defensive driving there, coming down to the line, just making DeGassis think about it a little bit. But yeah, still, 200 seconds, extremely close at the end.
Well, I love nearly beating Green, who was limping that car across the line. The fact he's not even doing his in-lap says everything, I think, yeah. it was bold, it was inspired, but it was just a bridge too far. As there comes Ray across the line. Wow.
Yeah, Monty just ticked Ray out for the final, the top 10, but still a good run. It's just, 3 Masters drivers in the top 5. Of the last step of the podium. So great run from the old guys today.
Yeah. And you know what? It's the 4th time this season that a Masters driver has finished on the podium overall. It's always been 3rd as well. All of them as one for Antonio Race at round 1 at Rutskogan, and then Marnie at VIR and Mid-Ohio last week. It's the 2nd, 3rd place in a row in Masters as well for Richard Coffey. With Bruges very comfortably in the end, winning Spec 2, and that's his first ever win. The son of Bruges, the Belgium driver, a great result for him. Congratulations to Sander, and massively improved. That drive is for Bruges.
Yeah, he's been close a couple of times this season, and just for whatever reason hasn't quite got there. But congrats to him for getting that win. It's an awesome job.
Well, I also wished as well, first time on the podium for him. So definitely a round of firsts in Spec 2. That's for sure. But now that makes it 2 wins on the belts for Kabanka in terms of Spec 1 and thus overall. McConnell going one better. He was 3rd last time out, 2nd today. All change. That is for sure. Be able to bring up some results very shortly when everyone's got across the line. I just wait last for you to do so. Well, we're waiting. There we go. They're in. Kabanka are winning. McConnell 2nd. Murakami, your winner in Masters, and 3rd overall. Then it's Gassis and Co. for Coffee to round out that Masters podium. Green in the end 6th. The fuel strafing, wasn't enough and hurt him badly. Finishes 6th, but still on the podium in terms of Spec 1. Thomas Renner 7th for Bruges, 8th overall, that win in Spec 2, with Marnie and Ray running out the top 10. Then it's 2nd and 3rd in Spec 2 in the form of Fernandez and Wishin, with Toms, Love and Overstreet all finishing within the 1 minute mark, taking down the 15th. Then it's Bottas, Stevens, Saunders, Ogburn, 1 lap down. The first drivers 1 lap down in 19th. Then Kai Brandel running at top 20. Tim Stainer was also 1 lap down. Laurie 2 laps down. And into retirement, Scriven, we lost him on lap 18. Montgomery on lap 16. Harding on lap 11. Walpole on lap 1. With Human and Walker not taking the start. Let's have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers. First up, our race winner here today, Christian Kabanka. Congratulations, 2 wins on the bounce. Your Marnie didn't exactly make it comfortable for you in these early stages before the pit stops.
Yeah, I actually was glad he was there because I was able to fuel save for about half the race, and then he let me by and he was able to fuel save. I don't know what happened to him in the end.
He sped into the pits, so he picked up the penalty, and that's why he finished 10th.
Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, it would have been very close. The fuel save, I barely made it to the end there with a lap to spare, so I'll gladly take that.
Talking of the fuel saving, were you surprised to see just how close Jason Green was when you came out of the pits?
Yeah, I was very surprised, but at the same time, not really, because he's known for that. But he's also, I had a feeling he may have underfueled his car a little bit.
Yes, he definitely did. Became apparent towards the end of the race. He was starting for 12 seconds, whereas yourself had the second fastest stop at 15 and 3/4 seconds. So everyone else is around about the 18-second mark, so 16 to 18-second mark. So yes, he massively underfueled from himself, but still. Christian, congratulations. Before we let you go, you think you can make it 3 from 3 with Interlagos next week?
Hopefully, I do like Interlagos more than Willow Springs. So let's see. I hopefully I can keep up the winning streak.
Right answer, Christian. I agree with your sentiment on that one. Congratulations to winner today, Christian Kabanka. Charles, I'm going to take a stab in the dark as to who you're going to pick next to have a bit of a chat with.
Well, us old guys have to stick together, so we'll talk to our Masters class winner and P3 overall, Chris Murakami. So, Chris, kind of we're in a pack of a few cars there, and I think today's race is basically just one of those that you just didn't really make any mistakes, and just it all kind of worked out for you.
Yeah, I decided just to kind of take it easy because during the week it was at least with the SRF, it was a total fuel kind of saving. You can't break away. So yeah, I just pretty much tried to save as much fuel, but I ended up putting too much in. I got an automatic fueler that's been acting up on me, and I ended up with 2 extra laps. But yeah, so I guess I gotta just take it easier, and things will come to me.
There you go. I mean, it's like a winning strategy to me. So what do you think about the track?
Yeah, the track is, other than it being so drafty, because you just can't get away unless something happens. It's a very competitive, and you never know what's gonna happen. But yeah, so it's fun. It's fun. I like the ups and downs.
Yeah. Well, let's go get you into the SRF, and so you can do some more drafting. Congratulations.
Yeah, hope to see you guys again on that one.
There you go. All right. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Next up, we've got second place, Michael McConnell. Michael, congratulations. Back to the podium. Best result of the season as well.
Yeah, thank you. That ended up going real well.
But I mean, it looked like an absolute epic battle between, yourself, pretty much that best of the rest sort of category that you fell into for most of the race. Just talk us through it in terms of what your tactics were, because it seemed like you tried to get to the front, and then you looked to be happy a bit further back, and then it was almost like you wanted to be back at the front again. Was that the case, or was it just about having fun?
Yeah, let's just say this was a very spicy race. What I was trying to go for, I was trying to see if we can catch up to the front 2 guys, because they weren't really getting away very far. But once I realized that the group that I was in, we really weren't going to be working together, so it's just like we're just going to go for it. We're just going to aggressively try and do this as best as possible. So yeah, we weren't catching up to the front guys, but.
Well, that was the great thing, because we were saying about it in commentary, because they weren't actually getting away from you, despite initially how there was a bit of battling going on between you. So if you had worked together, then you probably would have caught them. But like you say, it all changed. And then in terms of pit strategy, did you not think maybe to come in a bit earlier to try and break away from this group, or do you think it was too much drafting and you were safer to try and pit at the same time as everyone else?
Yeah, this race went by really fast for me. So by the time I realized that, by the time I got the idea to pit early, it was almost time to pit anyway. I did pit early though, like a few laps earlier than I could have. And my idea was to get out of the group, but that didn't last very long.
No, but even so,
it didn't last long at all.
It didn't last long at all. But having said that, it all works out okay. Second overall, you're gonna be happy with that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was a lot of fun. I love this track.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, congratulations, second overall, and best result of the season as well, Michael McConnell.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. And well, that is all we've got time for. Just looking at the clock. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, coming up in right about an hour's time here on Apex Racing TV is part 2 of Weekend Warriors in the form of the Ford Spec Racers. Make sure you join, well, myself and Charles and also Josh for that one too. But well, for all the Fords from Willow Springs, thank you very much for joining us. And if you're not with us later on, then we will see you in 1 week's time when we head down to the southern part of America, to the iconic, the mighty Interlagos. We'll see you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.